All right, it's preparing the live stream. So we are good. Andrea, am I good on the camera? Can I ask?
Good to me.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right, people, just so you know, we are waiting for word from Frank Porter that the link has been posted, and this will be mostly for people that hear it later. I need to close out of this. So, anyways, Frank's going to be posting the link, so we are just going to chitter chatter a little bit about our little contest from last week before we go. We are giving away. I need to get my other prop. Oh, here it is. My little Beepball Blues tumbler from Dot Shop from Rosina Coleman. Is that you, Seth?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to get my time. Yep, it is.
Well, stop it.
Oh, stop being so anal.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm always a little more amped up for the live stuff. I don't know why. I can't control it.
Don't know either.
A little closer, so hopefully
you've done these several times now. You're
right.
All right, man. You're a veteran now, Neil.
So we're giving away a Beepball Blues Show tumbler. We wanted to get a story from somebody. We wanted to get multiple stories. And Seth, you mentioned we probably wouldn't get a lot, and you were correct. One of the first ones out of the gate, I got Huggy Bear right here with me. Andrea probably remembers Huggy Bear. I used to, when I started the show by myself, I didn't have a mic stand, so I'd take my iPhone and set it up in Huggy Bear just like this, and then I would turn it around to me and do the show. So Huggy Bear has been my partner from the beginning. When I used to do my podcast with my cousin Brian, we used to record it sitting on a little breakfast nook, like literally slammed up against next to each other, like little lovers taking a selfie. And we'd always do a little knuckle bump before we started the show. So that's before I'd hit the live button, me and Huggy Bear be like, "Oh, good show, Huggy Bear." So that was Huggy Bear. But Mike, you can see I'm knocking things everywhere. Mike Coughlin had brought up during our show last week that he loved. That was a good memory for him. So Seth Dog, here's what was submitted. Demetrius, not Demetrius, to be clear on that. I get a little hand clap, Andrea. Thank you. Demetrius Morrow submitted his submitted his submission of his favorite memory is when David Smith was on the very first time and wanted to go with the nickname Bam Bam, not knowing that you already had that nickname. And then David Smith himself submitted his favorite memory of when we were signing out, and I was trying to get him to say goodnight, Cindy, and he said goodnight, Crystal, to his wife instead. That was a pretty good moment. And then Axel Cox brought up that his favorite moment with the show is when he won Beat Baseball Jeopardy and never got his prize, which is now 2 years later. And I've got to be honest, that made me laugh the most. We were underwhelmed, yes, Dog, that being the only submissions. But Frank, I talked to Frankie. He's on board with this, which we haven't heard back from yet, I don't think. Yeah, I have no messages. Did I send a message to Frank, right?
Sounded like it.
He's supposed to send me a message saying he posted the link. It's got to be posted by now.
I wouldn't know.
All right, yeah, I did. He's got to have it posted by now. I hope. I don't know. Give him another minute. Either way, it'll be up at some point, I guess. So we talked it over with Frankie, and I talked it over with Frankie, and he agreed that Axel's is the funniest. We're really giving it to you, Ax, by default. Wait.
You're going off of Frankie's warped sense of humor.
Yeah, Frank does have a warped sense of humor. I'm never going to share with anybody some of the private audio messages I get on Messenger in the middle of the night from Frank. He does have but I keep listening to him and laughing. So I guess Frank and I each have a warped sense of humor.
Hey, but the great thing about Frank, he laughs at himself.
Like Seth and I
shit!
that's why he's on the team.
I'm the funniest guy I freaking know, man. Of course I laugh at myself.
That's why he's on the team. I'm going to mute my phone and not worry about Frank getting back to us. And since we finish this up, we could just start. So we are, Axel Cox is going to be awarded a Dot Shop tumbler from the Beepball Blues Show. We're going to consider ourselves, even though accents, I know you're looking at this as your second prize. This is a prize by default, killing two birds with one stone. And as I told Seth earlier, this kind of cryptic, but I spent so many hours writing offensive and defensive packages of plays that you still are benefiting from. So I call us even, X. So you will be getting your Beepball Blues Show tumbler from Dot Shop and Rosina Foster. And Seth, I'm going to get some music ready. I'm going to try it again, Seth. Not the way we've done it before, though. When I used to do it before, Seth, this was the show of music. Every week, this is how I started out the show, but I'm not going to use it this time. Seth, we're dealing with a much more serious topic tonight on tonight's show, first broadcast ever, and the Beep Baseball Network. Seth, be appropriate. Neil McDonald, Seth Clark here with you on the Beepball Blues Show, episode number 100. We have President Jerry Wendell, our friend Andrea Leah joining us. Have a very serious conversation.
Wait. I'm not a friend. I'm not a friend.
Not anymore. You're the president now. I'm just kidding, though. I'm just kidding. Hello, Beep Baseball World. Welcome back to the Beepball Blues Show, episode number 101. Neil Dog, Bam Bam, right here with you for another episode, baby. How are you, Seth Dog? Feel better?
Well, it's good, but I can't really hear the music. Maybe I'm deaf. I can barely. There you go.
Woo! Everybody can see I'm the best death dancer ever. Woo!
That's better. I can finally hear that music.
I didn't realize. Well, since you protested so quickly, I thought you heard it well.
And I heard the Quiet Storm music. The hi, this is here. But I didn't hear it. But then once you switch to the hello Beepball World, then then you can hear. And then you turn that up, and I could whatever, I could hear that. So
doing it over an audio line can't possibly be a good way to get good sounding music out. On good sounding music, did you listen to the beginning of the last show? No.
I did. But
I thought Frank did a fantastic job of mixing in B Mod's heat up song or whatever. I thought it sounded great. Andrea, any thoughts? Did you think it sounded good?
Late.
She didn't listen.
Well, so I can't remember.
Fair enough. So we haven't, we do have Jerry Wendell with us. We have Andrea with us. And before we jump in and get caught up with them, I thought, Seth, we should get caught up a little bit with them before we dive into heavy talk. Andrea just got home from the only beepball games that have been played since the World Series. Jerry's been working as president for like a month now. So, we get a little loose conversation first. But I would like to promote what we're doing. This episode, the link is first being shared. The only place tonight that's being shared is in Beep Baseball Network. That's a new group on Facebook that the PR department with Richie Flores and Darren Keepers have started up. There's going to be a lot of people working on it. It's all going to be Beep Baseball related. And a key thing that they're trying to go for, I know out of the gates, Seth, I know that is something I'll enjoy is when there's games going on, it's a place rather than going through different groups or different team pages to see where the streams are. They're going to do their best to get every live stream pulled into there. I mean, people could still go wherever they want, but it's kind of a spot where you could do some one-stop shopping if you're looking for a game or whatever. Does that intrigue you at all?
I mean, the easier it is for me to find the streams, the more likely it is that I'm going to listen to Beepball, man. So jumping around all that stuff is I found that very hard at the World Series trying to find the actual game that I wanted to watch. So I think it will actually be I'll like it. I mean,
I think it'll be
make
good for
my
a lot
world
of
easy.
people. Yeah, I mean, even though I listen to games as much as I can, one of the things I use most is my iPad, and I hate using my iPad. I don't find it easy to get to what I want on my iPad, and so the easier it is to find something, I'm with you. Like the better it is. I think it's better for everybody, really. So, and I really want to say thank you to the PR department for reaching out and asking us to be part of it.
We got all those fools elected, man. What you talking about?
They owe it to us.
Yeah, right. Come on now.
But no, I appreciate they like what we've been doing. Richie's been supportive of what we're doing from the beginning. So Darren Keepers is great. But I mean, I love that we're all like trying to work together and support. So I want to ask everybody.
Hey, Neil Dog, like somebody told me a long time ago, we're all on the same
team. We are. That's exactly correct. So, look, the last thing I want to ask is I want to encourage everybody to subscribe to our show, subscribe to Richie's show, subscribe to the show Axel does, subscribe to what Greg Lindbergh does with Eyes Free Sports. Like, we are pulling on a small community to get an audience, and the more we help each other, like, it's good for all of us. Like, we need to support each other. We're all pulling from the same small pond. Honestly, we're not going to get big numbers on our downloads or any of that, but from what I understand in both YouTube and with podcasts, the more that people subscribe and leave reviews and hit the like button, it's not a matter just like it looks good for the people doing the show. It causes the shows to pop up more when people are searching stuff. Like, I try to, people might wonder why I put in words like National Beep Baseball Association and Beep Baseball so much in all the descriptions, because I'm trying to get the words to pull up in search engines to in the end, whether it's Richie's show, our show, Greg's show, Axel's show, if some young blind person finds it on a random search and gets interested in what we're doing, it's worth it. So please, everybody, subscribe to everything Beepball. Even if you don't set your notifications to go off every time, just get the downloads, get the subscriptions, and it just helps all of us grow. So I'll leave it at that. Anything else you want to add, Tata?
Dude, you convinced me. I think I'll subscribe to the Beepball Blues Show. I think I'll get on it, man. You convinced me. Man.
We're closing in on 100. I know that sounds lame, but we're at like 40 a year ago going into the World Series, the 2021 World Series. We got like 40 subscribers. We're going like 90 now. So we're climbing, baby.
Within a week, I guarantee you'll have one more, at least one more, Neil Dog. Well, we will have at least one more.
Thank you, Tone. Thank you. All right. Hey, Andrew.
Hold on.
Yes.
I, on August 29th, would like to say happy birthday to my mother. It is her 50th? Birthday. Yes, let's say 50th. Yeah.
Still sexy as hell.
But it is not so happy birthday, mother.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's so appropriate with doing this on a Beep Baseball show, because your parents in general they're more popular than you are, really, wise, by a long ways.
People like them. They don't like me.
People don't ask me how Seth is. They ask how your parents are.
Yeah, right. But hey, be honest, Neil Dog. My parents ain't never laid no ass whooping on these people like you.
Yeah, only you. Nobody's laid ass whoopings on you like your mama. Even if it's been verbal.
Yeah, right.
Nah, happy birthday, man. I mean, I love your family, but I mean, your mom, even like 30 whatever years ago when you and I hated each other, your mom was always so sweet to me, and she's so sweet to everybody. She's always made me feel literally like part of your family. So I definitely happy birthday, Penny. We love you.
Yes. All right. Now on with the show.
Yeah. So we'll
here.
be soon getting to the MBBA's other favorite person, Andrea Leah, but we're going to start with the MBBA president, Jerry Wendell. First, Jerry, man, welcome back to the show. You haven't been on since announcing your presidency. How has your first month?
I'm sorry. Another person we got elected.
I'd feel better bragging about that one if he ran against somebody.
I had stiff competition.
Yeah, right. Hey, a win is a win. A win is a win is a win.
Well, the first month has basically been more driven towards getting the committees identified as far as changing a few chairmans, additions, deletions to committee memberships. So that's basically what the first month has been. Actually, today I just got through sending out an email to all the committee chairmen, asking them to schedule a meeting with me over the next couple weeks to just to go over the purpose of the committees, the memberships of the committees, and the actions that I would like to see taken over the next 12 months. All committees are only a 12-month period of time that people serve. A lot of times those people just simply roll over from year to year, but they're 12-month commitments. So just working on committees over the last month, and starting next month, hopefully we'll get started on the real work that we need to get done.
I'm a little concerned. I didn't get that email. Am I not chairing a committee, Jerry?
All right.
You didn't get one either, Seth?
I don't believe you requested to be a chair.
I only want to chair the competition committee, and since we don't have a competition committee yet.
Well, no. The competition committee is the rules committee. It's
okay.
If you look at the name of the committees there, Seth, the competition is the rule.
Oh, it is. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Right. Not a problem.
I have seen a suggestion in the last year or two, people wondering if it's time to have a separate competition committee from the rules committee. I don't know what they had in mind, but I know I've read that within the last year, I'd even say.
We need a new competition committee just focused on making the game more competitive.
Would you like to appoint Seth chair right now, Jerry?
Yes. Let's hear
Hot
it.
stove. Breaking news.
Pop appointment.
I do not know that I could make that announcement at this moment.
You see it all we did for you to get you elected. Now what?
That's how you treat us.
Yeah, or get buckets.
Hey, Andrea, let's check in with you. My original co-host, though I never managed to get you on to co-host with me. How are you, my friend?
I am good. Life is busy, but things are good.
How was the tournament over the weekend?
The tournament was awesome. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure it was more fun for the archers than it was for the Comets, but
ooh. All right. Yes, the Gateway Archers won, I think, like 11-6 and 13-6 or something along those lines.
13, I think, and I don't remember the second game, but yeah.
Yeah, I was sending you and Seth and Demo messages during the game, talking about how much Seth would hate Demo on the broadcast because it's what he would hate about me. Demo was talking trash. He's all loud. And one thing I gotta draw the line, man. He was calling out my man Chris Jackson. He got lightened up on Big Chris. He was hard on that man. But Demo is just talking. Somebody goes, "Hey, what's the score?" He goes, "I have no idea." He's not paying attention, man.
Did they finish like 15th? Man? Who's Devo talking 13, about, man? 13. Oh, I'm sorry, 13th. I'm sorry. That's great.
And he was on the bench while talking trash about CJ.
All right. Nothing like somebody talking trash from the bench. We give them the Littered Walker Award.
Andrea, I did listen to quite a bit of that. And like most beat baseball world, I follow the Gateway Archers, like Paige and everything they're doing. Like that whole event, really, for like a game that just got thrown together, was a pretty classy event, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was really well organized, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little frustrating for me as the streamer because I found out after I started my stream for the second time in the first game. Somebody came up to me and said that they couldn't find my stream and they were getting messages that it couldn't be found. So I ended again and started a third stream. And then after it was all over, I found out that Facebook blocked my first two streams or first two attempts because I used music that was
they were hearing that walk-up music in the background. Yeah, they had walk-up music. Is that dog?
Yeah. Wow. Well, it was the walk-up music because it was so short, but it specifically mentioned Star Spangled Banner by Whitney Houston. So
okay. Both Facebook and YouTube are really sensitive about copyright stuff. So that's a bummer for live streams. Like if you know what I mean, having the walk-up. Chad Dillon,
hey, Neil, let me ask a question. Since you brought up walk-up music, I mean, with yourself and Seth being two greats of the game, what would your walk-up music be?
Probably both the same. Atomic Dog. Our whole team would have been Atomic Dog. I don't know. Seth, do you have anything you would really? Nothing jumps out at me. I've never given that thought. You, Seth?
No, I've never given it any thought. The song that I do like the most is but I couldn't use it now because the Boston used it as their chair, but one of their cheers is Stand Up. I like.
Oh
that.
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, when I move, you move. That was our team song. Our boy Chad Dillon had some country songs. Surprise, surprise! When he was going up, it's ripping away. It's like there. He's standing at the plate with his bat. I should do it left-handed. Acting like he's playing guitar. So he was hamming it up.
Hey, I can totally get it. If I had to pick a song, it would probably be a Toby Keith, not as good as I once was, but as good once as I was.
That's pretty good on the spot, Jerry. You're over there with your thinking cap on. You got any walking up music for yourself, Andrea?
Oh, no, I'm not good on the spot like that. I don't walk up.
Bee
Gees? You still a friend of Bee Gees? Fan?
Oh, yeah.
A friend of the Bee Gees.
You want to see?
She's 80.
I'm just gonna tell her. You want to see the cutest thing in the world? Put on "How Deep Is Your Love" and watch Seth and I sing together like a happy little couple. Boy, that's our song. That's our jam.
You mentioned it. I almost started singing it. That
sounds like another subject for another show.
Yeah, that's fair. I was starting to derail things too. You're talking about all like the Bee Gees you and Eric used to listen to when we were hanging out. The Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, man. There are a lot of songs on there that we love.
Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it.
All right, so we I would like to start this COVID conversation because I was the one when we did our final recap of the World Series that said we weren't going to do a COVID episode, and at the time I guess I felt like that was right. I don't know. I didn't know a lot about what was going on, and on a personal level I just wasn't even up to it or whatever. But as the story kept growing, coming out of the World Series with more and more participants ending up with COVID, Andrea ended up starting up just a Facebook thing on Beepball Nation, a little group chat, just trying to get people to share the numbers so we could share it with each other and try to be safe for each other and just all be on the same page so that everybody could take the best care of themselves. And as that built, Seth, you reached out to me and said, man, I think we should do this show, invite Andrea to come on, and we should invite Jerry to come on if he would like to also. And So what, I'll turn it to you I would like to start with Andrea since she did all the number things, but before we do, Seth, I'd like to, what inspired you to reach out and say, man, we should make this an episode?
Honestly, there was really two things. One, I thought Andrea did, great work, and she seemed to be putting a lot of effort into it. And I didn't think that it should just go unnoticed, right? We have a platform here. I thought that we should highlight what she did and make it known so everybody could hear it and all that stuff. I didn't want her work just to go by the wayside. And then second, as it related to Jerry, I thought the NBBA's response to it, especially with the letter that Steve sent out, was absolutely below par and unacceptable. And
in all fairness, I mean, he sent it
hold
out.
I
just
care
on the
about
side
it.
of the NBBA. I'm just saying it.
Okay, I'm just saying. You asked me what I would think, so I read that. But I have no idea. I don't know anything about anything. I just get the letter, right? And so, I thought that there should have been, especially coming as it related to the president, right? Coming out of let's say a controversy-filled presidency of Blake Boudreaux, I thought Jerry would be more transparent, more on top of things. Even though he's coming right out of coming right out of the World Series. Hey, Jerry, Jerry's a grown man who's been in this sport a long time, so I figured I expected more of a hands-on kind of response from him and the MBBA, and so I felt that the response was weak, lacking, and was inadequate, and so that was where the two came together, right? I thought Andrea should be highlighted, and I thought that Jerry might want to come out here and speak on it now that he's had a little time to digest and get comfortable in his spot and do all that stuff. So those are my ideas.
All right. I'm sure, Jerry, you probably want to respond to that. But I would ask.
We're gonna start with Andrew.
Well, I want to kind of. I didn't know what you were going to say.
I know, man. And you get all nervous, and you want.
No, I'm not nervous. No, I'm
go
saying,
back.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
I mean, you're right, but I'm not. I'm not.
Okay,
It was more.
Good.
I felt like I'm asking myself, should we change the outline, I guess, and go, because I felt like I know Jerry wants to respond to that. But from the beginning, I was thinking, Andrea, I would like to start this conversation because you were there at the World Series as a participant. You ended up getting COVID. You're the one that really started the only talk that's been taking place. So I would like you to kind of walk from point A to point C. When at the World Series you started thinking it might be a thing, and what led you to posting, creating that post, and what you found once you did.
Sure. Well, first, I just want to start out by saying, I know this is a sensitive topic. I know it's controversial. I tried my hardest not to stir up any controversy, just to remain neutral and ask other people to remain neutral too, because I don't think it has to be a controversial topic. I think from my perspective, a lot of people got really sick, and I care about the well-being of our members more than anything, more than any politics or any type of controversial subject. So I just want everyone to know that's where I'm coming at it from. I can't remember exactly when I first started hearing talk about it. I think maybe it was Thursday or Friday when I heard that one person had tested positive and they were pretty sick. And then Saturday, I started hearing more about more and more people that were testing positive. And I think it was Saturday at the banquet, I heard that Houston didn't come. Their whole team decided not to come because they had quite a few positive cases. And then throughout the banquet, I started hearing more and more about positive cases. And I was a little concerned that more people didn't stay away from the banquet, knowing that their teammates were positive and things like that. But I will also admit that I could have taken more personal responsibility myself, and I think a lot of us could have. There were a couple games I shook hands afterwards and things like that. And I was in close proximity with people. So, I think we all have to take some personal responsibility. But that being said, I was also disappointed in the MBBA's, I was going to say the MBA response, but I'll say lack of response. That email, I agree with Seth, was way below my expectations. And I don't think the league by any means should be responsible, should take responsibility for every person's personal health decisions. But I do think that more could have been done, especially in light of the fact that so many people got sick from the World Series. So I just decided, you know what, if that's their response, if that's all they're going to do, I'm going to reach out to people and I'm going to see if we can gather a little more information. I just want to know at that point. So I started getting sick on Tuesday, came home Sunday, Tuesday morning, like around lunchtime. I started really not feeling well. I left work. I came home and took a home test. It was negative. And then I scheduled a lab test for later that afternoon and went and took that. And I got the results later that night and it was positive. And I figured it was positive because by then I was very sick. Had a fever, just felt awful. Felt like it was the flu. It lasted about 5 days. The illness, like I had a fever kind of on and off and I was sick for 5 days. And then I'm still coughing. Right before the show, I was like, I hope I can do the show because I was coughing so much. But anyway, I thought at this point, I really just want to know how big is the problem. I'm hearing, word here and there, like this person's sick. This team had some people that with cases. And I just really want to know how big the problem was and if it was as bad as we thought it was. So I put a couple posts up. I started getting tons of private messages and text messages. And I never did quite hear from everybody, although I just learned over the weekend of a couple more people that had it that I but I can definitely confirm after all the messages I received and the comments on the post and everything that at least 82 people got COVID at the World Series and likely much more than that because I know for sure one team I didn't hear from at all. And some teams I didn't have complete numbers. And even my own team, I just learned about one more case over the weekend. So I think we can say probably 90 to 100 people realistically got it since I don't have all the numbers, but I was able to confirm 82 cases. So that puts us somewhere in the range of about 20% of people that attended the World Series came out of it with COVID and also passed it to other family members too. Yeah. And I didn't count family members that we know the person who came to the World Series passed it on to their family members. I didn't count those people.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a pretty significant problem. And I also think we have probably a higher percentage of members that may have underlying health conditions. A lot of people sick and things like that. And I think we should.
That's why they're in beep baseball. Like exactly. Their underlying conditions in a lot of cases is exactly what caused their blindness in many cases.
I just think controversy, politics, all that aside, we need to care more about the health of our members. Me personally, I'm really not concerned for myself that much. I got sick. My family didn't get it, but I'm healthy otherwise. I have no other health conditions. No health conditions whatsoever. So I'm not really worried about myself, but I do think that we could do a better job of caring for each other. And also, even for me, I don't want to bring it back and give it to my mom or someone who does have a lot of underlying health conditions. So I think we could have done better at communication. I think the MBBA could have sent out some recommendations, maybe not shaking hands or doing more sanitizing or something like that. I think they could have maybe provided hand washing stations or something, at least something minimal like that. But at a very, very bare minimum, once people started testing positive at the World Series and leadership became aware of that, there needed to be some communication and maybe even some recommendations that if you've had close contact with someone who tested positive, you should not attend the banquet. And a lot of people did. So that's where.
All right. Well, like Seth said, you did a really good job as far as like starting a conversation. I know I talked to you, sent you messages privately at the time, but I really appreciated because it's never going to be popular. I really appreciated the fight you took on. I was proud of you.
Thank you.
I too. That's why we wanted to have you on, because you did great work, and nobody else would have done it, right? If you didn't pick up the mantle and run with it, everybody just would have been kind of left thinking, oh, well, what actually happened there, and
talk about it, and nobody wanted to do anything about it. And to be honest, I don't really like controversy. I don't like fighting with people, but it seemed important to me. So
I could be wrong about the timeline, but my memory was that the letter from the MBBA came out after you started your conversation. I remember feeling like it was you that prompted the league to respond. I might have that timeline incorrect, but if you guys remember specifically, I'm not sure. But that's the way I remember feeling, like you really started. Yeah, it was you that kind of prompted a response, I felt. President Wendell, go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was
Before
going
I
to say
get Jerry.
exact timeline. I know I put up 2 posts, so maybe I'm remembering I put up the second one after that email.
Yeah. All right. So, Jerry, I appreciate your patience, because I know there's been a lot thrown out there. And for the record, Jerry became president in the middle of all this. He wasn't president ahead of time.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, he came in the middle or whatever. But Jerry, man, feel free. You got the stage now to respond.
Well, I don't disagree with anything that Andrea said. It was an unfortunate situation that we had so many people contract COVID at the World Series. As a organization, we could have provided more information. There's no question about that. But then again, COVID's been around for 2.5 years, and people should understand what situation they're putting themselves into when they attend a situation, an event like this. With saying that, I'm not saying, like I said, the organization should have probably done a better job as far as putting out a safety memo saying that, hey, look, if you're concerned about the COVID situation, you don't need to shake hands after a ball game. You don't need to socialize with other people in the organization. You're better off keeping distance as far as being up close and personal with people. There probably should have been guidance that was sent out. I was not a part of that prior to the World Series. I wasn't a member of the tournament committee. I was just a normal member of the board of directors. I'm not going to make any excuses for what was or wasn't done. All I can say is that, going forward, I, as the president of the association, will make sure that if this is the same situation going forward into next year and beyond, that I will make sure that guidance is provided. I don't really know what more I can say about it.
Actually, I honestly, I think that's a, big commitment to make, because really, as a member, that's all I would be asking for is guidance. I'm no expert. I don't know, like right now today, what next year's guidance should be. But as a leader, guidance needs to be offered. And I'm going to chime in on what both Andrea and Seth said about what came out after the World Series. I'm not going to play Monday morning quarterback on what went on before, because I didn't say anything before. So I'm not going to act like I knew what you guys should have done before, because I didn't say a word ahead of time. So I would be out of line to do so. But just like Andrea and Seth, when the response came from the MBBA, I felt it was very dismissive. The only thing that came in that correspondence sent from the league was to follow your local guidelines. It really didn't show. I mean, this is an outbreak from the only NBBA event that the league is responsible for, and the only thing said was, follow your local guidelines like that. I think the three of us are all saying, man, the league's got to offer more guidance than that going forward, Jerry.
Oh, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But I mean, if you were to take a look, as I'm sure Andrea can tell you, if you took a look at the hotels that we stayed at, the staff, minimal staff wore masks. There was not sanitizing stations readily available. So if you look at the whole Texas environment, it wasn't it wasn't something that was being stressed. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have taken a more active part in making sure that our members were safe. But
Well, I think more than that, though, after we knew what had happened, I think people were looking for more of a response, not just follow your local guidance, but hey, we are aware of what happened. We're looking into it. We're concerned that we have so many members that got sick. This is what we plan to do about it. We care. I don't know, something more of a response than what was sent out, I feel like.
And that letter, that was the last paragraph of the letter, right? I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff before that, and to me, right, it calls for a serious response. Like, hey, look, something went wrong here, right? We held the banquet. It's not just a personal responsibility thing, right? We held the banquet. We actually, with our actions, kind of put people at jeopardy, not meaning to, not meaning to, but things started to go on that we didn't actually track or understand or fully have a clear understanding of. But at least as an organization going forward, considering that it will probably still be around next year, we as a league take this seriously. We take your safety seriously, and we are next year, no matter what the circumstances are going to be, as long as COVID is still around, we're going to try to make sure that on the league level, regardless of the personal responsibility level, that we don't do the same thing. And I just, when that letter came out, I was absolutely floored, because I expected such a more robust response from that. And so to me, that's really where it was. I didn't feel like going forward, the league, and again, it was very early in your presidency.
And Seth, just so you understand, I did not take over the presidency until the post General Assembly meeting, which was on the 13th of August. So,
right, yeah, I mean, and I get that,
that letter did come out before that. I was like that. I just wanted to point out.
And Seth, I
thought it came out like that Tuesday after the World Series.
Yeah, but that was like
August.
No,
that's what I agree.
I
agree.
Okay.
And Seth, I don't disagree with anything that you said. And as I stated earlier, from the meeting that was held on August 13th, we addressed it, at least, the statement made that, there will be guidance going forward if we're facing the same situation next year. And as your current president, that's all I can do is say that we will take action going forward.
That's big, though. Andrea?
Didn't take over the presidency until August 13th.
That's when I assumed the presidency at the post General Assembly board meeting.
Okay.
That is really because it should happen on Friday night. That's when that first board meeting's normally scheduled, but they postpone it to not do it on Friday night. Am I correct, Jerry? That's the meeting that should.
Yes, that has happened. I forget what year that got moved from the Friday night until
Is
a
that
week
an
or two
official
after.
permanent move?
No,
thought people were.
There's nothing in writing that says when that meeting has to be held.
It doesn't matter. That's my bad. I apologize. Go ahead, Andrew.
In the World Series?
Your mic cut out. What did you ask?
I'm sorry. I was just trying to clarify who was acting president on the week following the World Series.
I did not assume responsibility until August the 13th.
Okay.
So is that again? I mean, we're all friends here.
But
that sounded
really
like a political answer. Was it Blake? Was Blake still president, or was there was no president and Steve was de facto president? I mean, how did that work? I mean,
I was told that my presidency started at the post General Assembly, at the post World Series board meeting.
So you weren't doing anything as president that week following the World Series?
There wasn't a lot done that week besides that letter being sent out.
Okay. Well,
no, and I get you. I mean, I get Andrew. In a critical moment, the fact that it's like, oh well, I wasn't. There was nobody at the helm seems to be kind of an odd situation to be in. Yeah. So. I mean, I don't know.
I wasn't expecting this, but I think Andrea just auditioned for the Today Show. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
I thought Jerry was the president, right after the World Series or whatever, but
no, actually, I think it's good that you press that because I think the three of us outside of Jerry and anybody listening probably assume the same thing. So
yeah.
It was fair. It was fair to ask that, Seth.
Right, and again, right, Jerry, me having trust in you, right? I think you're going to be a great president. Again, it would have been something. Even if I took office on the 13th, it's something that I would have generated a personal letter to the league about. You know what I'm saying? I want to just like kind of let it slide or whatever, and I'm not. Again, I'm over here. I got all my own issues. I am certainly not a perfect individual, but the even going forward, I still don't believe we've heard anything official from the NBBA outside of that letter.
You know what? I'm glad you said that the way you did, Seth, because I had this thought weeks ago and I would have never remembered it, but you brought it back to me. Jerry, like just another way to say what I think he's saying, I saw this as an opportunity for you to jump in and say, you know what, membership, I got you now. You know what I mean? I saw that as a good opportunity, whether you were officially anything, to come out and just take a stance like, all right, guys, look, there's a little problem here. Don't worry, I got you.
And I can tell you from the private messages I got, many of them from people that I really don't even know, membership is concerned about this. I know sometimes I feel like maybe some of the more vocal people are the people that are saying, take your own personal responsibility for your health. And, we don't want to be forced to do this and we don't want to be forced to do that. But I can tell you that I receive many, many private messages from people that are very concerned about this and they would like some guidance and some guidelines in place. And they're, as members, I think we need to listen to that side of it too.
I told Jerry when I talked to him privately the other day, asking him to come on. I'll share it out here. Like I already kind of said it. I really have no intention to play Monday morning quarterback over what was not done before the World Series. I'm as part of my NFB chapter, I write up like a little kind of report after the NFB president Mark Riccobono does like a public address every month, presidential release, and I have to listen to that. I don't say it like that. I listen to that and I take down like notes from it and share it with my chapter, even though we still listen to the release together, like giving them phone numbers and websites and stuff like that. So this is all to say that every month I was writing that leading up to the World Series was also leading up to the NFB convention, where they had standards. If you're coming to the convention with COVID, here's what you need to know. Here's our page. Go to this page and you can get every question you need answered. And since the World Series, they, in the most recent release, they're doing a survey to see, because they had their own COVID, even though they had restrictions, they had their own breakout coming out of that. Now that we're talking apples and oranges, that's a larger event that's mostly indoors, where we're smaller and mostly outdoors. I'm not at all saying we need to do what the NFB is doing, but they had a conversation ahead of time. And again, I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback because I didn't say, hey, you know what? I got Jerry's ear. I got Steve's ear. I mean, I got people who are involved in the league that I can at least reach out to. We do a show every week, Seth. We could have said, you know what? They're not using their heads here. We should encourage them to do so, but we didn't. So I don't want to sit back now and say they did that part of it wrong, but I do think it's a good guideline that we should try to follow from the standpoint of, let's see, instead of seeing what's going on in Norman, Oklahoma next year, COVID wise, let's just see what's a good idea for an event with 400 or 500 people and try to just start from there. I don't know what the answer is, but start from there. And just the last thing I would like to say, I hear you want to jump in, Seth. The last thing I want to say, and I've always felt very comfortable talking like what I would do if I was on the tournament committee, because I spent like 15 years on the tournament committee. So I never felt like I felt like the responsibility of the World Series was on the entire tournament committee, not on the first vice president, on all of us, me included, as a member. If I was a member of the committee right now, I would be starting conversations like, what do we need to do next year just so that we don't put our membership in jeopardy again to the degree that we did? Because the numbers Andrea is having, and I'm sure that they're more than she's coming up with, are 1 out of 5. When we're sitting on team benches with 15, 20 people all clumped together, when we are at banquet tables with more than 5 people clumped together, that's, you know what I mean? That's, hold up your hand, pick which finger you want to get COVID. So that's a really high number. So that's the last thing really I'll say, as far as, like, if I was on the committee, I would be, pushing us to just take a more active role next year going forward.
And I think,
go ahead there, Andrew. Go ahead.
You want to go, Seth?
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say a couple things. One, I don't want to play Monday morning quarterback either. I mean, I didn't speak up before the World Series, and I didn't take as much personal responsibility as I probably should have during the World Series. So that's one thing. With that being said, it was my understanding before the World Series that something would be coming out in regard to guidelines or recommendations or whatever with regard to COVID, and that never materialized. So I guess I continued to expect that to come, and it just never came out. So I don't know what happened to that. Also, I think we have to recognize that with this specific group of people, there's probably inherently more risk, because obviously blind people touch things more and touch each other more. And me, even as a sighted person, guiding blind people, or it's like I assisted people with, like, going up to the bar to get drinks, or maybe going to the front desk or going to the ATM to get cash. You're in closer proximity, I think, in general, maybe than some other populations. It's easier to keep more distance. So, I accept that risk, and that's okay. But what I would love to see happen is some guidance or guidelines, recommendations in place for next year. Some, maybe a virtual option for any types of meetings or the banquets, not solely virtual, but an option so that people who maybe are sick or don't feel comfortable attending in person, or have health conditions they're worried about, would still be able to participate, but they
It's a
wouldn't
really
just
good
go
idea.
in
It's a
person.
really good idea.
Yeah, I would love that. And then maybe some hand washing or sanitizing stations. And maybe the league could bring for a few COVID tests to be available for people who need them. And
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's really where this whole thing kind of started, like with Seth and I on our show. Like, you know, I assumed when on like Thursday when Tim Hibner from the Blackhawks, but you know, MBBA great Tim Hibner was the first person I heard of testing positive, and when I heard he tested positive, I just assumed like that he went to the sideline, said he didn't feel too good. They sent him to the medical tent. He got tested, and they sent him home. But no, like there was none of that. Like I never should have assumed that. There was nothing like that going on this year. And his wife had to go get the test or whatever. So, I mean, Andrea's right. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there should be more.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry. You've been really
I'm
patient.
not going to make excuses for what was or wasn't done.
Yeah,
You know,
that's fair.
I'm not going to do that. All I can tell you
that's
is
honestly, and
let me say this. That I get that, and you know, and I'm more than happy to be the Monday morning quarterback. I mean, because I've been yelling about COVID on Beepball Nation for 2 years, and everybody has nothing but negative things to say about me when I yell about it, right?
Fair.
And
Seth
so
has never stopped the battle.
Yep, and so you know, to me, I knew it was going to be a super spreader event. I didn't doubt that. But what I would like to see from you, Jerry, is not necessarily like guidance, but like policies, right? You know, like true hard actions and stuff like that. And again, it's all, you know, we all play sports, right? Next rep, best rep, right? So we make a mistake. I tell the kids this all the time. You make a mistake, that's fine, because you know next time you're going to be better, right? But to be better, you have to realize, hey, I made a mistake. Right, something did not go right, and I need to try to be better. And all I would like to see coming out of, you know, anything out of this event, right? And I brought it up in relationship to this All-Star weekend that's coming up, right? You know, to me, I just want to see, you know, A, people take it more seriously, and B, people like, man, you know what? Perhaps a solid set of policies, a solid set of rules would help us in this time, because you know when you just leave it to guidance and kind of nebulous things, you know, bad things sort of happen. You need solid policies, and I would expect you, Jerry, understand that, because I know you do that in other things like the vision policy and stuff like that. I know who, you know, I know what you're about, and that you're going to be a good president. And I just would like to see, you know, some policies and some actions coming out of this. But again,
and it could be little things too. It's little things. Instead of teams don't have to shake hands if they don't want to. Just say, hey, stay away from each other. You know? Exactly. It's not good for the tournament long term. Not this year. That, I mean, I'm just suggesting, you know, instead of saying, hey, you know what I mean? We you know, we as an organization, all of us, not just you as the president, all of us that call ourselves a member, go say, hey, what's best for the whole over the few, you know? And if saying you can't do this or you can't do that, so that we can have a more successful event. I mean, that I don't know, just seems like a good idea to a little old person like me.
But you're the one who sets, you're the president sets the tone, and you are now the president, Jerry. So whatever tone you set, we'll anxiously be watching.
and Seth and Neil, I don't disagree with you. And like I said, it was brought up at the meeting on the 13th that you know, there will be a policy going forward, and you know, that's what I can promise you. There's nothing I can do about what has happened in the past.
You know,
I was not a member of the tournament committee. The tournament committee was just simply mentioned it in passing, because we're not going to go deeply into that, was kind of thrown in,
yeah, we don't need to go into it, but everybody knows it was in complete disarray. Absolutely.
And so I'm not going to, it's certainly not a Cassie issue. So all I can do is tell you that going forward that, there will be policies in place for next year. And
just wondering, do you plan on officially addressing it like sometime in the future, or are you just waiting for policies come out?
Well, it was addressed, not in detail at the meeting on the 13th, but it was addressed.
Hold on, but this is the thing. There's only like maybe we'll get 100 listeners to this show, right? And maybe there were, I don't know, 30 people at the meeting, right? But you have hundreds of members in the MBBA, and it would seem to me like you might want to tell people that you're on the job, and like Neil said, that you got this and you're looking out for people, as opposed to saying, well, it was already addressed. Because it certainly, as public facing, it was not addressed, and it has not been addressed. And this show is not, I won't say, going to reach enough people to say, yes, this is an official statement by President Jerry Wendell.
And I don't have a problem with making a statement and posting it on the official NBBA media sites that are available, or posting it on the, including the website. I don't have a problem with making such a statement.
Love it. Go ahead, Andrew.
There was a question I brought up a while ago that got no response, so I'll ask it again. I recommended, I guess it was a few years ago now, that we should have some sort of, I don't know, notification system for members. Like, there's so much technology out there. It could be email to all the membership, not just the team contacts, or, some kind of.
You mean kind of like schools do to notify parents or something?
Where you really do want to get a message out to all the members, and that might be good for next year if there's another break, to inform everyone that like a mass text message could go out, or a mass email, or something through an app or something. I think that would be phenomenal and really useful for our league, and I would love to see something like that implemented for the MBBA.
Jerry, we're giving you a second opportunity to appoint a chairperson.
Well, it does. A chairperson doesn't have to be appointed. I mean, it can be something that we can assign to our PR chairman, which is Richie Flores. But no, I don't disagree with you. I mean, we can certainly have, whether it's an app like, I think there's one called Team Snap, and there's many others out there that we can reach out to our members and say, hey, here's an application that you can download and become a member of, and get up-to-date messages from the NBBA. But then again, we can also tell the membership that, hey, we'll make make sure you view the NBBA website to get the most up-to-date current messages coming from the organization. So, I mean, we've got opportunities that we can certainly make available to our membership to take part in.
See, this is why we just sit down and have a conversation. Like, look at some of the good ideas that have come out of this, in my opinion.
Always good ideas. Always good ideas. I always like words like "we will" as opposed to "we certainly can."
We're just throwing it at them.
I'm just saying who I am and how me. That's why people, my matter of factness at times bothers people.
But Seth, we can't make people look at those applications or those
Nope.
sites or whatever. So
Nobody will ever hold
Yeah.
you or anybody
Nope.
else responsible for the response.
No,
All any of us could do, like in a leadership role, is just put stuff out there, and where it goes and where it ends, all that's out of. Well, you know what I mean. I try not to get. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person. That's why I was like, it's in God's hands. You know, once you set it off, it's out of your control at that point.
So, I mean, that's the role of a leader. You don't know always who's going to follow you, but
Yeah.
you got to lead.
You gotta do what you think is best as the leader.
And really asking for is the opportunity to be informed. If I don't take advantage of that opportunity, that's on me.
Right.
But I think we got to have some way, whether it's email or an app or texting or whatever, to inform the league of certain things, the whole league, not just the team context.
well, but at the moment, our team contacts, other than posting to the NBBA website, are really only two real sources of getting information out to our membership. So
But as she's pointing out, though, like anytime there's something like this, the only place, for the most part, it gets sent is to the team contacts, and you're depending on two people to share it with the whole team. And like something like this goes beyond the team. Like something like this is something that family members, like Seth's parents that show up, can follow the app without being on somebody's roster or whatever.
well,
So that's why
I
she's
will.
saying, in addition, like beyond the team contacts, it needs to be bigger than that.
Right. And just because you, let me just say, because you brought up Team Snap, and hell, I get these Team Snap notifications all the time because that's what Landry's soccer team uses. As long as you were to be like, hey, we have a Team Snap account that you can go and download the app. If you don't want to download it, don't worry about it. But any announcements that we have to make, important like that announcements, we'll make over Team Snap. Download it for the week and get rid of it. And then you've done your job. And if people want to follow it and want to, if it's important to them, they'll download it. But the fact that we don't have that capability at the moment doesn't mean, again, next rep, best rep, doesn't mean that you can't have a better capability next year at the World Series. But it takes the will to want to do it.
And I will reach out to Richie as being our PR lead to look into the applications and such that we have available that we can use.
Richie better be listening right now.
Well, and I made sure Richie knew that this was going to be on tonight. So I will reach out to Richie, and as our PR chairman, I will have him research, what is the best available source for us to disseminate information, and we'll discuss that at that point, and we'll move forward with it. And I hear what all of you are saying, and like I said earlier, I can't do anything about what's happened in the past. I can only work towards, making things better moving forward. So
no, nobody's putting. We really we haven't spent hardly any time. We spent more time admitting we don't want to play Monday morning quarterback than we have criticizing anything before. So it's really about, honestly, Jerry, like I was just gonna say too about the app. The app is only like a good thing if we follow up. Like it's an ongoing thing. What came out of the World Series that Andrea did, as much credit as we give her, shouldn't have come from Andrea. You know what I mean? That conversation should have been started by the league, and going forward it could be, and then shared into this app. We got to gather information and then share it. We can't hide from stuff when it goes wrong, man. It's not good for our membership. And I'm not saying you did specifically, but our league's response was less than it could have been. So, and that's why we had this conversation, man, so we could all be on the same page. I love the fact, Jerry, that you came on as a member of the board and president of the league and allowed us to have this conversation with you, man. And I'm sure it was uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable conversation for me. I just lost a family member. to COVID. And the title of the show is, I don't know, not the vid, I think. And I don't want to sound tongue in cheek about it. But I don't want my family like reading that title thinking that, I just lost a family member. I'm out here having fun with COVID, because there's nothing fun about it, man. Seth, you got anything you want to add?
I will. It's funny because it's we were talking about Team Snap. I just got a Team Snap notification about family members on Landry soccer team being positive with COVID.
Yeah,
right. So the
helpful.
Yeah. So I mean, just as we're speaking, and so I mean it's ironic and all that stuff. But again, as long as people have the information and you guys have a solid policy, that's all you can do, right? But you gotta have to have a policy. And I don't, what is past is past. What's important is what happens going forward. So I appreciate you coming on here, man.
I don't disagree with you, Seth. I mean, you're speaking to a person who has had COVID twice. I'm double vaccinated, double boosted. I've had the infusion therapy, with the IV bag. I mean, so I hear you. I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, I'm a cardiac patient, so I certainly know, and I'm not getting any younger. Surprise, surprise. So I totally hear what you're saying, and I all I can do is promise you that I will, not let the discussion fall aside, and I'll pursue making sure that whether it's for COVID or just information in general becomes more available to our membership.
All anybody can ask, man.
Yeah, can't ask any more than that. Thank you very much. And if you need any help at all, just call on Seth and Andrea. They will be there for you. Don't bother me about it. They're there for you.
We could be your COVID committee, man.
As if that would be the very first COVID committee ever started. I don't have anything else. We're like an hour in. We've had a really good, healthy conversation. I thank everybody for being part of it. If anybody got in late, you can always, once I send the stream off, you can always go back and hear the beginning at any point in time you want to. I don't know what this means. At one point I muted my mic and checked my messages. I didn't get a message from Frank saying that the link was posted till like 20 minutes, 30 minutes after we started. So who knows how it all turned out, but man, we go ahead.
Well, I think there was some new shows coming up on streaming that Frank wanted to see, so it's probably gonna be his issue.
Watching some horror movie, you might interrupt people getting their heads cut off. Got interrupted by beat baseball. Sorry, Frankie. No, we love us some Frankie Porter. Appreciate him always helping us out. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Andrea, for coming on with us. We appreciate it, you guys, very much. Any final thoughts?
And great discussion. Thank you all.
Can you thank me for also going a whole hour without saying a single inappropriate thing to you?
Yes, thank you, Neil Dog. I won't be getting any text after the show.
No apologies. I got mad love for you, dog. Jerry, man, big props to you for coming in and doing this with us. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. Not a problem. You know, I'm here if you ever have any questions.
Absolutely.
You got that president coach speak down, man. It, man. You know,
politically correct.
Well, and just so you know, Seth, you're still my third favorite member of your family.
Yeah, right. I appreciate
that's higher than a lot of people have.
Yeah, right.
It's a big family. All right, so we are taking Labor Day weekend off, everybody. No new show until September 10th. We have had a great run of shows. This is like 101. Man, we're well on target to do more than we've ever done within a year before. all of our episodes of late. We were on a streak of 6 straight episodes of well over 100 episodes, with our final recap of the World Series over 200. And I know, like in YouTube worlds, podcast worlds, those are stupid numbers that nobody cares about. But in our world, those are bigger than we've had plenty of episodes go over 100 episodes, but
100 views. You keep saying
100, yeah, 100. Sorry, yeah, 100 views. Thank you. But we've had plenty of them go over 100 views, but 6 in a row, that by far is the best we've done with a streak. So thank you for everybody for punching in and checking us out for however long you do it. You're helping us out. We love doing it. So thank you so much. We're going to keep chugging along. We'll see you September 10th. Thank you, Frankie Porter. Thank you, Seth Dahl.